Magnificat anima mea Dominum,
et exsultavit spiritus meus in Deo salutari meo.
Welcome to the new episode of the theme St.Teresa of Avila, Mother of Interior Souls. Now, I am going to explain to you the notion of mental or personal prayer. We can express our love of God without words or with spontaneous words. For example, I devoutly kiss the crucifix or the picture of Jesus. An excellent way of prayer. Because prayer being an act of love, kissing a person is the highest expression of one's love to the one on whom this kiss is being planted. I look at the crucifix or tabernacle with sentiments of love and adoration and admiration. Only two persons in deep love can linger on each other's eye. I lovingly look to the center of my heart where God dwells. I may give expression to my love of God spontaneously, explaining, "My God, Jesus, mercy." Your very physical presence before the Lord is a sign of your love towards Him. When you are so dry that nothing comes to your mind, occasionally you tell Him, "My Jesus, look at me like a mother watching lovingly on her sleeping baby." At times, read the Bible for a while and then close it and tell Jesus, "Jesus, have mercy on me." Repeat it as long as the hour of your prayer lasts. All this comes under the category of mental prayer or personal prayer. St. Teresa of Avila's classical definition of mental prayer is famous, and we have it in her Book of Life, chapter 8. And it is quoted in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph number 2709. This is the description St. Teresa gives. Contemplative prayer, mental prayer, in my opinion, is nothing else than a close sharing between friends. It means taking time frequently to be alone with Him who we know loves us. The relationship between God and man, according to St. Teresa, is without any formalism and legalism. And hence, this definition of mental prayer is perfectly consonant with the mentality of man today. In her Book of Life, she exclaims to Jesus, "No third party is required to obtain us an audience of Thee." In a humorous way, she speaks about the formalistic and legalistic approach one should have to meet a person of position in the society. She writes in her life, "But even for a matter like the addressing of letters, we need a university professorship, and lectures would have to be given in that art, or whatever is to be called. For in one case, one part of the paper has to be left blank, and in another case another part, and the title illustrious has to be given to a man who formerly was not even described as magnificent. And then she gives her own experience. She writes, "It once happened to me, when I was not accustomed to addressing aristocrats, that I had to go on a matter of urgent business to see a lady who had to be addressed as Your Ladyship. I was shown that word in writing, but I am stupid and I had never used such a term before. So when I arrived, I got it wrong. So I decided to tell her about it, and she laughed heartily and told me to be good enough to use the ordinary form of polite address, which I did. Since prayer is an art of friendship between God and man, it cannot be acquired simply by means of any technique or method, and it must develop continually. It will not become perfect in a day. Extreme patience and perseverance are required to acquire the habit of prayer. St. Teresa does not condemn any method of prayer. She proposes, in fact, one in her book of Way of Perfection. She is against the tyranny of methods. Methods are like crutches to a man with an injured leg. He needs crutches as his legs cannot transport him. But he should put away the crutches as soon as he has regained the use of his leg. Otherwise, the crutches will prevent him from walking on his own. To attribute an infallible effect to a method of attaining God experience is theologically unsound, for the simple reason that God is not someone to be switched on with the pressing of a button. Prayer is for St. Teresa to be alone with Him who we know loves us. This part of the definition explains the role of faith in prayer. Faith tells us that God loves us. Faith needs strengthening. Human friendship is fostered by tangible proof, whereas we don't often have palpable proof of God's love. Reasoning reveals that God loves us. For example, take this text from St. John, God is love. On reading this text, our heart may not immediately be moved to elicit affections, but meditation on the dealings of God with us gradually spurs our heart to burst into love. This, however, is not the case with infused recollection. In infused recollection, the soul grasps its meaning immediately, intuitively, with admiration and passionate love for it. When we come to the episode of infused contemplation, we will study this matter in detail. Thank you.